All right, here we are for the latest edition of the LC Tech Hangout. My name is Josh Allen, Tech Integration Specialist for Lewis Central Community Schools. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to stop by. Or if you're watching this later, thanks for checking this out. We are going to talk today about Google extensions and add-ons. I had hoped that Shaylin Farnsworth would be able to join me, but she had a meeting pop up at the last minute. So I am on my own, which will be fine. We'll bring Shaylin back at another time. I did get some feedback from her, and as always, I'm always picking her brain as to ideas to learn more about Google. So we'll definitely touch base with her at a later time. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Google extensions and add-ons. If you have questions throughout, there is a Q&A feature on the Google Hangout page. Go ahead and click on that and submit a question. I'll try and get those answered. You can use the hashtag LCTechHangout. You can also just respond back to me at J_Allen. Or post it as a comment on the Hangout page. I will check in with those throughout the time, at least before we leave. So again, just we reiterate this each time. The purpose of these Hangouts is not to give you completely in-depth, this is how things are, but is to give you an introduction, in this case, to some of the Google tools that are out there. And really to kind of help you maximize your time. And these slides, which I'll give you a link to at the end, are a little bit different. I've included a lot of YouTube videos that give you kind of the how-to, because I didn't think we'd necessarily have time to go through each one. So the resources are built in. But again, whether you're in my district or not, contact me if you have further questions. I'm always happy to answer them if you have them. So why would we discuss Google extensions and Chrome add-ons, or I'm sorry, Google or Google Doc add-ons? The purpose of them all is really to kind of make your life better. If you're using Google, if you're in a Google Apps district, these are definitely some tools for you to check out. There is a difference between the two. An extension is something that is in Google Chrome in the browser. There's such a wide variety of different things, but they are extra features and functionality that you can easily add to Google Chrome. And it really just allows it to customize what it is that you're doing. There's a lot of different tools that they work together with. So for example, if you use Evernote for your note-taking, there's an Evernote extension that when you click on it, it lets you save it into Evernote. Similarly, Flipboard, I use Flipboard magazines as a place for me to gather information. I can click on that Flipboard extension, just like a bookmark, and it saves it then into whatever magazine I want it to be published in. So it's really just a quick way to do a lot of different things. Some of them open up a new Google Doc or a new Google spreadsheet right from whatever page you're on. What was the one that I saw today? I actually just read an email. It looks like EduCanon, which does formative assessment with videos, has one now that you can click on, and it on any video, click on their extension, and it allows you to add questions. So again, that was something I noticed in my email about an hour ago and haven't had a chance to dig into it deeper, but it's really about using that Chrome browser to maximize your time and accomplishing things a little bit quicker. The easiest way to find either extensions or apps. Apps will show up. It depends on the tool. Some are known as extensions. Some are apps. Both are found in the Chrome Web Store. And once you either purchase or add the free Chrome apps, which everything we're going to talk about today is free. But once you add those, then they show up and you can access them from your toolbar within the Chrome browser. The Chrome Web Store just has a ton of stuff. There's a lot of, not a lot. There's games, There's like a million different things. I know one, as I was doing some research to see what other people use for this, I saw one PowerPoint or Google slide, whatever presentation, that had like 75 different extensions just for education. We're definitely not taking that many. I can't nearly talk that fast, but those resources are out there. So those you would find in the Chrome Web Store. Add-ons are a little bit different. Add-ons are a little bit newer. Really it's just kind of the terminology and where you find them is new. Add-ons are more specific to Google Docs and Forms and Spreadsheet. There are no add-ons for Google Slides. They're a presentation tool, but there are for the other three. And in fact, the rebranding of what they do is fairly new. I don't know if saying in the last year is correct, but Google Forms really in the last few months, I believe since the beginning of this school year, I could be a little bit off on that, but Google Forms is pretty new. But we're going to talk about some very cool ones that you can use for that. Add-ons are not in the web store. The easiest way to get an add-on is when you open up a Google Doc, form, or spreadsheet. There is an add-ons button in the toolbar. So you have your file, edit, view, insert, all that stuff. There is an add-ons button there. And then you can click Get Add-ons. You can also manage them if you want to get rid of them. You would do that in the same spot. And whenever you want to run one of them, and we'll talk about what that looks like in a little bit, you go to Add-ons and then you open it up. Some add-ons, and I don't recall if we have any that we're going to talk about today. Some require an extension to go with it. Kaizena is one that comes to mind that you and they walk you through it. When you add the Kaizena add-on, you also have to add their extension. So it just depends on the add-on. So that's where those two are. We're going to start talking about this extensions again for Chrome, for the Chrome web browser. And one of my new favorites, and really new to me, not necessarily new to the Chrome Web Store, would be Screencastify. And what Screencastify does is it allows you to record either a specific tab or your entire desktop, and it saves it either into Google Drive or you can publish it to YouTube right from there. It is free. As I said, everything here is free, or at least has a free component to it. So with it being free, it's obviously very simple. There's really not any editing that can happen there. I believe, I don't remember now, I thought you could trim it. What I have done, I really don't use it for any of the editing. I really just use it for capturing whatever it is that I'm saying. And then in YouTube, you can actually do some editing with some layover stuff or layered stuff, trimming, all of that. With Screencastify, it's simply recording my audio. If you have a webcam, you can record yourself talking, but you don't have to. Or you can record a video of yourself, but you don't have to. But super simple to use. So as I said, and I'll show you at the end where this slide presentation is, the left-hand side is just a quick Screencastify tutorial. And on the right-hand side, one of our Spanish teachers, high school Spanish teachers, she actually teaches middle school also, but this was for high school Spanish. She wanted to be able to do an oral assessment of the students and how well they speak Spanish. Obviously, when you're learning a new language, being able to actually say it is way better, and you get a way better understanding of what the kids know than if they, type it out. So what we did is she put her quiz in Google Slides, and we shared that with the students, and they had to record themselves either for one quiz, it was saying vocabulary. You could do it where they're answering questions in Spanish, so they have to read the Spanish question and then respond back in Spanish. So they just recorded themselves flipping through the slides and answering those questions. And so on the right-hand side is a video that we sent to students on how to do this. So they recorded themselves. They saved it into, they had the option, they could do Google Drive or YouTube, whichever they want. And then they submitted their link through Google Classroom, which you can do that through Google Form or however it is that you get information from kids. But it produces a link either to Google Drive or YouTube that you can send back. So super simple to use. I've seen a couple others out there online where students or teachers are using it as a way to share, where you go for information or touring of a website. Another activity that we'll be doing here shortly, we have some fairly advanced fourth graders. So for part of their study on the westward expansion, they are going to use Screencastify just to answer questions. It's just a different way to for them to tell us what it is that they know using audio and video. You wouldn't necessarily have to use a video. We're using Google Slides again, and they just click through and they see the questions and they answer it back. So either way, that is a great tool that is very easy to use. The Google GOO.GL URL shortener is a great way if you are having to get a link out to students very quickly. I will also use this a lot of times if I'm sending an email and the URL is extremely long. It drives me nuts when URLs take up 3 or 4 lines in an email. So I will a lot of times just use that GOO.GL URL shortener. What's great with the URL shortener is that not only does it give you a URL, it can also provide you with a QR code if you need that. And then you can see the QR code there on the screen that you can just either drag to your desktop or I believe you can right click and save it. There's a couple downsides with GOO.GL. You can't customize it like you can with Bitly or tinyURL. The other thing is if you go, what it does, if you're logged in with your Google account, whether it's a Lewis Central account or your school's Google Apps account or just a regular Gmail account, every time you click on it, it generates a new URL. So if you go to GOO.GL, you can actually copy and paste the link in, and it will show you statistics for anything that any GOO.GL URL that you have shortened. But if you do the same website 2 different times, it's going to separate out those statistics. So that is one of the downsides. It's not a huge deal. I don't necessarily use statistics a lot as far as that goes. The other thing is, and you can hopefully see it on your screen, the example there is GOO.GL/N J N P H X. It's essential that you capitalize those letters. That is very, if you were to do GOO.GL/n_j, you would not get to the right website. So I've run into that issue a couple times where it was a lowercase l and I told people it was capital I, and then they went to the wrong spot. And O and 0 kind of can cause some confusion sometimes as well. So you just have to be aware of that. It really depends on what it spits out as the URL and where you're going to put it. So be aware that those are case sensitive. As I mentioned, like the bit.ly, Bitly, and tinyurl.com, and some of the others allow you to customize it. But this is just a nice, quick way if you just need a short link. Video notes is something that is fairly new to me. This is not one. The other ones you've probably heard of, and obviously I'm newer to my district. I have not shared this one yet, but I know some very specific places where this is going to be very beneficial. So what Video Notes does, it is an extension that when you click on it, and it's also, I believe actually it's an app. I apologize, it's not an extension, it's an app. But what it does is it allows you to insert a video YouTube videos work great. And then as the video is playing, and you kind of see it on the right-hand side, there is a text box there that you can start typing text. So if you are having kids take notes, they can type in whatever note they want to take. Or if you are wanting to have a way to call out certain pieces to kids, what it does then is it timestamps it. So if you make a comment at 1 minute and 35 seconds, it notes that in your notes that you are sharing. Everything is saved within Google Drive. So one of the things that we're working on in our middle school, very initial stages of how are we going to offer some flipped classroom for our students, or blended learning, depending on which term you want to use. This would be a way that if you create a video or find one online, obviously, you could put that video into video notes and have students take notes over it and see exactly where it is that they are watching and taking notes from. So a very cool tool there. Again, there is a video there to give you more information, and I am happy to answer questions about that as well. Again, it's a newer one to me, but a very cool thing, a very cool tool that we can use with our students. So moving on to Docs. So these are add-ons. Again, if you are in this case, Google Docs, and that's one thing I should clarify. Add-ons can be specific. So EasyBib, for example, only works in Google Docs. There's no reason that I can think of off the top of my head. Well, I shouldn't say no reason. EasyBib doesn't necessarily work in Google Spreadsheet or Google Forms, because EasyBib is all about citing where it is that you get information. That's not an activity that you're necessarily going to do within Google Forms or Google Spreadsheets. So in this case, EasyBib for Google Docs, what it does is you can either do a search within EasyBib. When you start EasyBib up, it actually puts it in the right-hand column off to the right of your of the doc that you're typing in. So you can do a search within there. If you have a URL or a book number, like the ISBN number, you can paste those in and it will find those. And then with the click of a button, it will put it into your document, properly cited. And it also has the ability to change formats. So if you need the ALA format, you can do that. If you need the, I think it's MLA, you can switch your citation to whichever your teacher wants. So very easy to use. Highly encourage you to check that out. That's one thing that I wish we did a better job of, and I'm just as guilty of it, but properly citing where we're getting information from, whether it's pictures or text or information. EasyBib makes that very easy to do. And we have, I know, our teacher librarian at the 2nd through 5th grade building has been doing a good job of introducing kids to this as they begin writing papers. So hopefully we can continue to push that for our students. Kaizena is in here. Kaizena is a very good add-on for giving feedback to students. I know a lot of our teachers will just add comments to a document that students share, which is perfectly fine. When we did a overview of Kaizena at the high school, Molly Pettit did a great job of explaining how you would use Kaizena. And what she said is that if you are not necessarily comfortable at typing, or you have a lot of stuff that you need to type, instead of, the comments itself are only going to be so wide. So you have this huge long list of comments, where with Kaizena, you can just speak your comment. It doesn't take up the whole page. It doesn't take as long to type out and make sure that you have the correct punctuation, all that other stuff. you can just speak right into it. Kids enjoy, whether you're doing flipped classroom or Kaizena, they enjoy being able to hear your voice. So this is, as I mentioned before, Kaizena is an add-on. It will prompt you to add a Kaizena extension. I think it's called Mini Kaizena or something like that. But it walks you through so that you can take a look at it, or so that you can install it the right way. And again, this video here, the Kaizena add-on is actually pretty new. It used to be that you had to go to a whole separate website, but this fall they did a big switch and made it as an add-on, so you do everything right within Google Docs, which I find to be a lot easier to use. I haven't double checked. We've had a little bit of issue with Kaizena, and we think it has to do with the new firewall that we put in. I'm not sure if it's, we think that it wasn't sending the audio up to the Kaizena server. So that is something that that I will double check. And if you're interested in using it here at Lewis Central and it's not working, let me know, and we'll take a peek at that again. Another new one, this is for Google Docs and Google Forms, GMath. What it lets you do is insert fancy math text and images and vocabulary and formulas into your Google Doc. So you're not having to do it just as regular text. Again, what you're looking at here in this video, just the screenshot that they have there, is inserting it into a Google Doc. But again, as I mentioned, Google Forms now has add-ons here within the last few months, I believe. And GMath is a add-on within Google Forms. So if you are wanting to do some sort of assessment in math with Google Forms, you can do that and use the GMath add-on to get your equations or formulas written in there. Choice Eliminator. Choice Eliminator is a very cool add-on for Google Forms. What it does is once someone has selected a choice, it takes that choice away. And at first I thought, well, it would do it like if you wanted to resubmit a form. But the more I thought about it and watched the video that's here, it's more about like if you wanted people to sign up for a certain time, and they give the example of meetings. So if you think in education, parent-teacher conferences, you could have all of your times listed out for parent-teacher conferences. And once someone chooses, like 8 a.m., for example, and they click submit, then that choice is deleted off of your form. So it can only be done once. One of the examples they give in here with the Choice Eliminator is, let's say that you have the form up and you have selected 10 a.m., but you don't click submit. Well, let's say, and they give the example that the phone rings and you go to answer the phone. Well, if someone else comes in, chooses 10 a.m. and clicks submit, when you go to click submit, it'll say, no, you can't choose that. That choice is gone. And so you have to resubmit. So it looks very cool. If this could even be something like for, it may be a little too, doing a computer lab sign up may be a little bit too much for it. But if you want to have parents, if you're scheduling, in the elementary, if you're scheduling class parties, you could put a list of everything that you need, have parents go and pick what it is that they want to provide, and then once they click submit, that choice is gone because you only need one of them. The other new feature that they've added is you can set how many times that choice can be made. So if you need 5 Kleenex boxes, you can say keep that choice there for 5 submissions, and then after 5, then it disappears. So a lot of potential there. Interested to see what teachers come up with for ideas on how to use it, either with parents or with the classroom. Even like PTO, PTA, if you want to have people sign up to bring stuff for like parent-teacher conferences when you provide supper. That'd be another way that you can use it. So it's very cool. Form limiter is another nice one. If you want to allow, let's say you're using Google Forms for an assessment and you want students to take that assessment before midnight on Thursday night, you can set that up with Form Limiter. You can actually set it up by date and time or by number of responses. So if you want to say the first 30 people to respond get that opportunity, you can do that. It does work pretty slick for that type of thing. You know, even if you're not, you know, in a classroom setting, if you don't want people to continue to submit to your form at a later time, let's say you put it on your school website and, you know, parents can sign up for whatever. You know, you could say, well, I don't want parents to be able to submit after December 1st. And that way you don't have to worry about, you know, making sure that, or you don't have to worry about going in and shutting it off. It automatically does it for you, so a parent can't come in later or a student can't come in later and say, well, I submitted that form. Well, yeah, I wasn't checking it anymore. So Form Limiter allows you to shut it down automatically, regardless of what it is that you're collecting. So this came up just in a conversation the other day, another little bonus tip for using Google Chrome. OK Google is their voice search. If you're on a google.com website and you have enabled it, there should be a microphone there. If you just speak, and I'm actually kind of surprised it didn't show up now as I'm talking, then it will respond. Once you say OK Google, then you say whatever it is that you're looking for. So you can do that, say 5-minute timer, or you can just search for 5-minute timer. And then in Google search results, it pulls up a 5-minute timer or however long timer you need right there in the search results. So instead of, and there's 100 different apps out there or extensions that are timer extensions or apps. But this is a quick way without having to install anything. As long as you're using Google Chrome, you are able to do that timer right there in the search results. Just a fun one that came up the other day. So that is the end of our day today. I will check the other things here real quick to see if there are any other questions. bit.ly/Josh@LC. That is my website. There is a button there for Tech Hangouts and the archive, which is where this will be stored along with this PowerPoint. Hopefully in March, assuming that we get Instagram unblocked, we will go ahead and talk about Instagram. Instagram is a great video or short video tool so that parents can, or you can really share what's going on with your class. Visuals are huge, especially with parents. And it's easy if you have Facebook or Twitter to send those to those different services. But it's definitely a great tool. Hopefully we'll have that unblocked and ready to go. Otherwise, we'll do something else. We'll bring Shaylin back for some other reason. So thank you so much for your time. Let me shut this off real quick, and let's just check the other two places. All right. Some great feedback. Lynn, Mickey, thanks for checking us out. Hope to see everyone soon. Thanks.